Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DiFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by the great La Marzocco, who's been making espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. This is the quintessential espresso machine for the coffee industry. So many of us have grown up around and on a La Marzocco espresso machine for very good reason. The dependability, the craftsmanship, the build quality, the beauty and innovation of the machines that La Marzocco produces is based all on what their customers need. And that is the reason for their success. You know, one of the best machines that I've worked on most recently is the Linea PB with the styling of the Linea Classic along with the technology of today to allow baristas ultimate control over the extraction of espresso. And that is but one example of many examples you could list out where La Marzocco has created a machine that fits perfectly for your situation. So go to lamarzoccoUSA.com and find out what they offer. And better yet, go to info@lamarzoccoUSA.com. Email them there and talk to one of their salespeople. They'll walk you through the process of getting the right machine for your situation, whether you're looking for your very first machine, want to make a great decision, or you're looking to expand and upgrade what you currently have. They can help you out. Again, check them out. I think it's a great option for your coffee shop to get a La Marzocco in your cafe, lamarzoccoUSA.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly, who creates custom branded mobile apps for coffee shops who want to stand out, who want to offer a seamless experience for their customers, one that is a no-risk model for them because there's no setup or development fee. And amongst all of the other intuitive features, Espressly integrates fully with Square, and that includes the loyalty program that Square offers. You can do that through the app with Espressly, and you're not just another dot on the map with Espressly. People see that app, they see coffee, they see your brand and colors. It's a hospitality extension. That's the intention here. So go and visit them at espressly.co to learn more information and get signed up today. Again, that's over at espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about loyalty and my take on this idea that we more or less will demand loyalty from the people in our lives who we see as assets in providing stable labor or income. So that means our staff have to be loyal to our business in the sense that they are just down for virtually anything. Often what we do is we hear of resistance. We hear it or we see it, we feel it, and it feels like they're not loyal. Okay, so we're like, oh man, that's gonna wreak havoc with my business. I need loyal people. And for a lot of us, we conflate the idea of loyalty with our staff with just basically having an employee pool that doesn't question anything that we say. They're just 100% on board, which is weird because if you have that, it's not because of your hiring skill. Usually, it's because people don't feel right speaking up. You got to worry when you don't hear anything from people except positivity. And I know that kind of sounds weird coming from me because I always like to think that we advocate for being positive, and I'm fairly optimistic when it comes to things, but let's also be real. There are lots of things that go wrong, especially when we're talking about small business. And if all you hear from your managers and your staff and your customers is that everything is fine, everything is good, you guys are doing a great job, I love what you do, you really can't believe that. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy genuine compliments, but you should be curious and think, well, what is going on here? I know myself. If you're at least a little self-aware, you know you're not knocking it 100% out of the park here. None of us really are. And in fact, I'd be jealous to find feedback that gives me a little bit of a critique about the way I operate, because chances are people are just, for the benefit of their own convenience, stuffing any negative experience they have, not telling you about it. And at the same time, it builds up inside of them, like scale on the inside of an espresso machine. It's like no news is good news, but you're doing no preventative maintenance, and eventually your machine stops working, or your baristas stop working for you. Worse yet, they start actively fighting against you, and your customers might do the same thing in a different way. But so when it comes to the idea of loyalty, we have to be careful that we are actually talking about earning trust. The trust credit episode we did a while back about on a shift break talks about this idea of earning people's trust. This is how you earn loyalty. And even then, this is how you earn loyalty. And when people are disloyal, they often are giving you an incredible gift. When they give you resistance, when they go, wait, let's talk about customers. When they go to a different shop and they buy their coffee there because they didn't enjoy what you did with that latte or that drip coffee, immediately we get so defensive. What do you know? You're not a coffee professional. You haven't studied this. You didn't pour your life savings into this. You did not read the books and blogs and listen to the videos and podcasts that I have. And you say you don't like my coffee, then it's a you problem and you're just not our customer. Very rarely will I advocate for this idea that somebody is not your customer unless they are actively and aggressively against you or trying to create some kind of a you versus them scenario. Otherwise, when people offer critiques to you, whether it's on Yelp or personal notes or right then and there in front of your face, whether you're a barista or you're the owner of the shop who can kind of train your staff to perceive these things this way, you should look at this as being a very huge benefit to your business because people rarely will stop and give you constructive criticism. Oftentimes, they'll just stop coming. And when we demand loyalty from people, we often will use those ideas of, well, we're local or we're for a good cause. And any other reason why somebody should not shop at the other place and shop here at our place. We offer every reason sometimes, except the experience, the consistency, the hospitality. Is the coffee consistently good? Is the hospitality and the service consistently great? Is this a comfortable, welcoming environment that is constantly looking to figure out how it can increase those values for the customer? Those are the only things you really need. Yeah, the fact that you're local, okay, I'm here in your shop. You're here locally. I get it. You're local. That's not reason enough for me to keep coming back to your store. That only lasts so long. I don't think we truly want people's loyalty if it's basically just based on pity or based on charity. Like, I'm going to support this place, even though I don't like their service, even though I don't like their coffee. I'm going to keep going because I got to support them. And you know what? Secretly, I kind of stop going as often. Even the most diehard fan of your cause or etc. is going to have at some point a line past which they will not go because ultimately they want a good experience for themselves. People want to know that the experience is going to be great. And so loyalty is often some kind of a escape hatch that we use to allow us to not improve our coffee quality, to not improve our hospitality and the feel of our space, to refine it. How many times have you seen this where a coffee bar starts with all this bluster and glory and etc. And eventually over the years, things just become dilapidated. It just keeps going down and down and down and down. But then they expand, but nothing changes with store one. Nothing. The bathroom still sucks. The tables still wobble. The baristas still have attitudes. The coffee is inconsistent, but the branding gets invested into. And now we've got 2 shops. Now we got 3 shops. And we keep growing and growing. And we start to demand loyalty based on brand loyalty, not based on the experience that we deliver, because that's just the low-hanging fruit. That's the curse of today in terms of coffee shops. So when you think about loyalty, forget about everything else and only work on delivering the best experience possible every single time and refining your spaces, refining the systems, and caring for your people, your customers, and your staff. Your staff loyalty will go through the roof. Your customer loyalty will go through the roof. But when you are perceiving that people are being disloyal, first thing you should do is ask yourself, how am I being defensive right now? How am I not picking up on something that this person is actually showing me? It hurts to look at your reflection sometimes. You have to look full face in what your customers and your staff show you about your business, because you have ultimately got the most bias of anybody in terms of your business. You might think you're your own harshest critic, but you don't have the kind of perspective that other people have. As a consultant, I offer this kind of perspective when I do assessments of coffee shops. And I often will recommend to people that you also get this kind of perspective from your staff and customers as much as you can, because that is also somewhat of an outside perspective outside of your own head. And so I hope that today's episode has given you something to think about, that you will actually count the critique as a blessing, as something that will spark your curiosity, that will allow you to see that this is another opportunity for us to grow and to get better and to refine and to earn that loyalty a little bit more. Each day, that's what we have to be about. And we can't demand these things from people lest we ruin our own opportunity for actually doing a good job. Instead, we'll just gather people under us who will tell us we're doing a great job, but then secretly they don't believe it. And yeah, you know what? We kind of don't believe it either. We don't want that. And so let me know what you think about this. I hope that it's been helpful, and I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.